13 things you didn't know about Brexit.
Living off my trust fund underneath the hot sun, forgetting that I'm someone who held a referendum that divided a nation and broke the United Kingdom.
If you're new to my channel, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and share the video if you like it. Let's crack on. 13 things you didn't know about Brexit. If you're not already aware, I voted for Brexit, I regret Brexit, and this little series of videos is all about why I regretted Brexit, facts about Brexit, and we're going to uncover the truth about Brexit. Everything that happened. Make sure you watch till the end because it helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and helps this video to fly to other people. So number one, at the time of triggering the Brexit negotiations, there was 20,833 EU laws that were to be scrutinised. At the original triggering of the Brexit negotiations, there was 500 days until Britain left the EU. They had to agree on a divorce settlement at a measure of 40 laws a day. These were the areas where the laws were in effect. You had external relations, 4,210, agriculture, 3,012, environment, consumers and health protection, 2,175, fisheries, 1,512, industrial policy and internal markets, 1,510, general finance and institutional matters, 1,416. You get it? The list goes on and on and on because Brexiteers thought it would be easy. But turns out there's work involved, people. Number two, the core EU treaty, the Lisbon Treaty, had to be changed to remove every single mention of the word UK. Until 2024, the EU will be overseeing certain projects that were scheduled to carry on beyond the Brexit date. So that means that the UK will be stuck with financial monitoring until 2024 by the EU Commission. EU projects funded up to 2019 had to be financially scrutinised until 2024. And it is even quoted, the UK government has promised to guarantee funding beyond the point at which the UK leaves the EU in respect of structural and investment projects where the UK bids directly on a competitive basis, citing university participation in EU research projects as an example. How big was the EU budget black hole? 10 billion euros is the financial hole that we left the EU in. And it is quoted, the UK currently makes a net contribution of around £8.5 billion when we was in the EU, 10 billion euros per year to the EU coffers. And because of this budget black hole, it caused concern for the European Investment Bank, which would have to reduce its capabilities to provide loans in third countries in support of EU policies. Translation, the EU's efforts to fund its refugee and migration policies through the EIB will be affected by Brexit. Basically, we can't fund your immigrant schemes. 197,893. These are the number of EU citizens that lost their rights after Brexit. That means basically EU citizens that resided in the UK lost their EU protections as soon as Brexit happened. The ones that were affected were these: 120,000 job seekers from EU 27 countries and the 50,893 workers based in the United Kingdom from another EU country. The people who also faced the uncertain future were 27,000 people who either cross a UK border to get to work from Spain to Gibraltar or from Northern Ireland to the Republic of Ireland, for example. The UK gave up 73 MEP seats at the EU Parliament, which means those 73 seats had to be distributed amongst other countries. 359,953. These were the amount of passports at risk. These were the number of financial services passports at risk. The Parliament's Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee identified 16 pieces of pending legislation in banking, capital markets and taxation that could require redrafting depending on Brexit negotiation outcomes, and a further 6 legislative reviews that might add more issues into the mix between now and 2019, or then in 2019. UK financial firms were set to lose badly if a special deal could not be arranged to allow them to provide their services from the UK into continental European markets. A total of 5,476 UK registered companies using 336,421 separate passports to do business in the EU 27 are at risk. compared to just 23,532 passports held by companies from the EU 27 or the European Economic Area for doing business in the UK. Basically, financially, our banks were set to do worse than the EU because we provided more of our services to the EU than the EU did to the UK. The Consumer Rights Directive presented many thorny issues. Parliament was uncertain about the rights of customers after Brexit for any purchases they made in the EU country before Brexit, and who will enforce those rights. The EU regulations and mobile roaming fees no longer applied after Brexit, noted the industry committee. Basically, us dealing with the EU went tits up. Britons used to make a hell of a lot of health trips to the EU before Brexit, and now we can't do it as easily. 42 million. The health hassles for Britons holidaying on the continent. Britons take 42 million trips into the EU 27 each year, and EU 27 citizens make 21.5 million trips to the UK. Now, all of them are covered for health. Before Brexit, all of them were covered for hospital healthcare by the European Health Insurance Card that they were entitled to as EU citizens. Now, we're not. The multi-billion euro nuclear problems caused by Brexit. The UK government has already announced it will be leaving Euratom, the EU nuclear agency, but its approach to ITER, a multi-billion euro fusion research project, part of which is based in Culham, England, is unknown. Also to be resolved are the future of various EU bodies based in the UK, including the European Medicines Agency and the European Banking Authority. Competition to be the new headquarters for these agencies is fierce. The Northern Ireland Peace Protocol was perhaps under the largest threat. And we all know in our own history that it did not get resolved straight away after Brexit, and Rishi Sunak has barely resolved it. He's basically just managed to calm the waters on the Northern Ireland Protocol. 3,800 Brits paid by the EU or receiving EU pensions. Some 1,800 EU staff are British nationals, and a further 2,000 Brits receive EU pensions. The Budget Commission notes under the heading Provisions to be addressed in the Exit Agreement and the future EU-UK relations, the number of people looks small, but the total price tag for dealing with employment and entitlement issues arising from Brexit is likely to run up to €7 billion. The UK's use of the Globalisation Adjustment Funds before the Brexit referendum. Up until 2016, the UK had never applied from the European Globalisation Adjustment Fund, one of the EU's key measures to help fired workers cope with the challenges of the global economy, according to the Employment Committee. The effects of globalisation are often cited among the key reasons many Brits voted for Brexit. That is the end of the video. 13 things, or 12 technically, 12 things that you didn't know about Brexit. The details that your ordinary voting Brexiteer did not bother to read, and we are now suffering for. Those finer details are what makes it happen. They just thought one word: immigration. No Turks coming to our country. And look what's happening now. Everything's still the same, if not worse, and we've only made our own lives harder. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, share it, like it, subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. See you next time.
Don't crash the home, don't slash your rights. The people's vote is out of sight.
If we don't leave on the 31st of October, this country will explode.
Did you like the video? Then hit the subscribe button or watch some more videos. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel grow. Thank you very much.